Master Your Mindset Radio, episode 36.
Welcome to Master Your Mindset Radio, the show where we empower you to conquer limiting beliefs and transform your world with your gifting and purpose. Now for your host, Elizabeth Nader.
Hey friends, welcome back. This is episode 36. Isn't that exciting? It seems like yesterday that I started this podcast and we're already 36 episodes in, so we'll have to do something special for number 50. Anyway, glad to have you here. There is so much to talk about, so I can only really choose one subject for today's podcast, but with all of the things going on surrounding the shutdown, the pandemic, the COVID-19 crisis, mindset is at the top of the list. So I've never been more excited to do what I do or more sure than I ever have been that we need to master our mindset because fear is rampant. It is everywhere. I posted the other day on Facebook that I am allergic to all this fear. And that's literally how I feel. I have just sort of had it with the rampant fear. I'm all about wisdom. I'm all about making good choices. I'm all about keeping people healthy and safe. But at the same time, the fear is really, really palpable and it's becoming a little too much. So we are at a point now, this is a podcast set to release for April 28th. And I am in New Jersey. And at this point, we don't really see an end to the road to opening our state. Other places do, which is great. So we're in it for a little bit longer. So all of you fellow New Jerseyans, you guys got to hang in there and you've got to control your mindset, right? Because we want to come out of this stronger. So in anticipation of the state opening up, wherever you are or your country, wherever you're listening from, what is your life going to look like once that happens? In most places, the reopening will be phased or whatever that is, a phased approach. And so it's not like turning on a light switch. But something that has been tossed around a lot is this phrase, the new normal. Now, this morning in my private Facebook group, I did a very quick motivation video on the new normal. And when I did that, my wonderful PR person who I adore, Lori, shout out to you, my media person, my unbelievably talented social media expert, all of those things and more. She called me and she said, I hate that word. I hate that word. Why did you do a video on new normal? I hate that phrase. And so I got a kick out of that because she's right. I actually hate that phrase too, the new normal. And I think what she shared with me is when she hears that, she thinks about the fact that, what does that mean? Like, this is the new normal? I can't get together with my family. This is the new normal. I can't get a haircut. This is the new normal. I have to wear a mask and stand 6 feet away from people. And so, yeah, when you look at the new normal that way, and the way it's being used on TV and in politics and government, nobody really wants that, right? I don't want that. But I decided to grasp it for myself. I decided to take that phrase and own it in a different kind of way. And Lori knew that. She listened to the rest of the video and she got that. But we were kind of laughing about how that phrase is so negative. So we're not going to let that phrase be something negative, right? We're going to step out of that place of fear that really the media has had us. And I want you guys instead to embrace what new normal means. A lot of things for me personally have happened during this quarantine. I have made a determination, and especially when we sort of early April, it was announced at least another 30 days. And if you guys follow me, you know at that point I said, okay, we're looking at this as a gift. I made a determination that I was going to take advantage of the 30 days. And I put together for some of the people I work with and some of my followers a daily practice wheel and different ways that they could set small attainable goals in their life that would become habits and things they could change so when they come out of this time period that they've actually improved themselves. So we did this whole shift, this whole mindset shift, and we said, all right, the 30 days is a gift. So now that we are looking at all of this conversation about reopening, the road to reopening. What does that look like? The phases of reopening, the new normal, right? I now say, let's also take a mindset shift. Let's take that phrase, a new normal, and let's steal that away from the camps of fear and negativity. And let's own that ourselves and say, listen, what do we want our new normal to be? Not what are they going to tell us? What are they going to force us to do? What does government require? No. I'm not talking about that. I want you to look at yourself and say, what is my new normal? So we all agree on some level, unless you've got your head completely in the sand, that life has changed, right? I mean, it's different right now, but that long term, our view of life has changed. So what about that can work in our favor? I am so committed to coming out of this thing stronger. I am so committed to creating a new normal. I'm using that again in my life because I want to step up to the next level. I don't want to go backwards, actually. There's so much that I love about where we were, of course, and I want all my freedoms back, and I want everything that is America back. I want all of that back. I'm not talking about that. But when it comes to personal things in my life, when it comes to habits, when it comes to my businesses, when it comes to my children, when it comes to my marriage, when it comes to my spirituality, whatever category you want to look at, my personal development, I want my new normal to be that much better. I am committed to stepping up in all those areas in a way that will make this time so worth it, right? Because why go through this simply to come out weaker? Why go through this to capitulate to a new normal that other people tell you you have to have? Why don't you create it? Why don't you decide what it is? I mean, this is not an easy time for a lot of people. It is definitely a struggle. It is a struggle for all of us in different ways. But why struggle if you can't come out victorious? Why commit to doing the work and then not recover? We want to literally be part of the recovery. When you look at it from the standpoint of the economy, we talk about the economy recovering from this, right? When is that going to happen? What does that look like? Everyone wants that to be something in our near future, right? If you care at all about our country, you're praying for an economic recovery. So we want to be part of the recovery in our own lives, in our relationships, in our businesses, in our careers, whatever. In all areas of my life, I want to recover from this. Well, part of that is by making changes now and deciding now how my life's going to look once we are back on the road to being reopened, once life begins to sort of, start again. And I am in charge of some of that. I am not in charge. Let's be honest. I have no control over when my governor says, you can do this, you can do that. I have no control over the forces around me that shut things down or open things up. But I, and only myself, I have complete control over how I decide to look at all of that. I have complete control over, should I choose to exercise it, my mindset, and how I choose to look at the things in my life and what I choose to put in place. It is my choice. If I want to improve my health, it is my choice to exercise more wherever I can. It is my choice to drink more water. It is my choice to eat better. If I want a better spiritual environment in my home, if I want a closer relationship with my God, then I need to put in the work. I have that choice to do that. If I want a better marriage, I have the choice to put in the work to make that happen. If I want better communication with my children, I have that choice. These are all elements of what is possible for you in your new normal that the outside forces have no say-so in. The government cannot tell you anything about that. That is your choice. Within the parameters of what we have right now and what we will have in 3 months and what we will have in 6 months, I don't know. You still have choices. So you need to look at the 90-10 rule again, which is, you've heard me say it 100 times, 90% of what happens to you in life or where you find yourself in life is a result of how you reacted to the 10%. So remember that. It's 10% what happens to you and 90% how you reacted to it. So there is that element of control. I know one of the things that's happened during this time period is people feel such a loss of control, and that is scary. And in fact, a lot of decisions and choices have been taken from you. But really, that stripping away is pretty amazing, because what it's done is revealed what you truly have control over. And that's not necessarily bad to have that epiphany. I mean, that's my whole first chapter of my book, is the epiphany over the one thing. It's called The One Thing, that chapter. What is the one thing? The one thing you have control over, which is your mind, which is your mindset. You could also call it your attitude, which is the way you direct your mind and what you decide to do, what you decide to think, how you direct your thoughts. This is the one thing you've had control over, and the only thing you've had control over. That is where your choices come from. So this time period has simply revealed that in a really dramatic, smack you in the face kind of way, right? That's all you ever had control over. So now you have a choice. In your new normal, and Lori, don't cringe when I say that, in your new normal, will you choose to exercise that control? Will you choose to keep that in front of you as the main thing where you put your energies? Will you stop trying to control all those other things that you never had control over anyway? And if you can put your effort, your energy, your ideas, your resources, everything that you want in life behind that one thing you could have control over, can you imagine how your life could change? Can you imagine how much more quickly you could be walking in your purpose, or how much your influence would grow? And instead of that, people tend to spend a lot of time in areas that they didn't have control over anyway. So this has taught us what we have control over and what we don't. I, for one, think that's a great lesson. I choose to see the positive lesson in all of this. So come with me in that. You decide what your new normal is. And when you hear that word being used on TV, by politicians, by the government, whatever, shake off what they're trying to say and embrace what it means to you. Yes, we will deal with whatever we have to in society, and we will continue to survive. We will be okay. It may not be everything we want right now. I know, for one, I've had now 3 international trips canceled, that were important to me as a result of this. We are losing opportunities. We've got seniors in high school losing opportunities, people that have to delay weddings. Yes, all of that is beyond our control, and we have to deal with that emotionally and rationally. But still, we have control over one thing. So will you exercise that control, and will you paint the picture of your new normal and commit yourself to that? Because I want to tell you something. If you do that, and you do that without fear, and you do that in a way that makes you understand anything is possible, your life will catapult. I'm telling you, out of crisis comes incredible opportunity. Some of the most amazing businesses are born out of crisis, are born out of recession. Sometimes your relationships need to hit some sort of a painful crisis, or something that's kind of a squeezing, to have them finally grow and finally realize that, wow, we've been doing this wrong, right? Relationships can be that way. Finances, so you can finally understand that you need to manage that situation better. Your health, whatever it is, usually out of pain comes change if we decide. So that is your opportunity to create your new normal. So I'm going to own that phrase. I'm going to steal it back. I am just going to take that phrase back, and I am going to decide the way I want to live my life going forward and be the captain of that ship with God's help. And I'm going to design the life that I've always wanted. And I've never really realized, and neither have you, if you're honest with me, how little you had control over until you lost control over what seemed to be everything. And this is the time for you to recognize that what you do have control over is powerful. So let go of everything else. Let this happen, and just continue to stand in faith, to be positive, to stand up for the truth, and to look at the future as full of possibility, full of hope, and full of a new normal that will absolutely be the most amazing place you've been yet. That is my prayer for you. That is my hope for you. And if you want help with that, follow us in the Facebook group, because my message is going to be the same for the next whatever few months about this. I will continue to say the same thing to you and encourage you to push forward. So join us, join our community. There's information about that at the end. And understand that there are a lot of people who see this as a positive opportunity. So jump on that bandwagon with us and design your new normal. Have a great week, guys. We will talk to you soon.
Thank you for listening to Master Your Mindset Radio. Before you go, if you want to be part of a free online community of like-minded individuals for support, resources, and inspiration as you conquer your limiting beliefs and pursue your purpose, go to elizabethnader.com/community. That's elizabethnader.com/community, or search for Master Your Mindset Academy private group on Facebook. Looking forward to seeing you online.